Hi, guys. Welcome back to our
Hello.
channel. This is me, Rima.
And my name is Jaley.
And Jaylee, today I'm going to do something that is sort of related to a video that me and Emily did. It was a video song very early on. It was from the film Kantara, and the song's name was Varaha Rupam, or sort of in or what it translates to is in the form of a boar, which well, boar like a divine incarnation of Vishnu. So if you remember, I keep
Okay.
talking about the trilogy of sort of deities, supreme deities in Hinduism. You have Vishnu, the protector, Brahma, the creator, and Shiva, the destroyer. And oftentimes they take incarnations, human incarnations or animal incarnations to preserve the earth. So Varaha Rupam is kind of sort of a devotional song, you could think, from a film called Kantara, which was a hugely successful movie. And we're going to do a little bit something a little bit different. So we're revisiting Kantara, not the movie, guys, but we're just basically getting into how the story of Kantara is related to actual spiritual practices in India. So we have a tantric here. So tantric, let me see if I can find a definition for what a tantric is so that you have some context.
Cool.
So it's a type of spiritual discipline. Okay, something called tantric sex came up, which is not what I wanted to talk
Oh,
about.
not that kind of discipline.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't know. This is a tantric tradition. Let's look at it. Okay. So, Tantra, and I'm going off Wikipedia, guys. So, if you want to add some more context, please feel free to do that in the comments below. So, Tantra refers to an esoteric yogic tradition that developed on the Indian subcontinent from the middle of the first millennium CE onwards in both Hinduism and Buddhism. The term Tantra also in Indian tradition means any systematic, broadly applicable text, theory, system, method, instrument, technique, or practice. A key feature of these tradition is the use of mantras. So it's like a string of words, like a chant.
Mhm.
And thus they're commonly referred to as mantra marga, or the path of mantra in Hinduism, and guhya mantra, or secret mantra in Buddhism. Um, so again, they have different lineages. In terms of tantra, if you're following the spiritual discipline, you could go with Shaivism, or the Shakta sect, and Kashmir Shaivism. So there's many different lineages coming from these different paths, I guess, centering on worshiping Vishnu, Shiva, or Shakti. So Shakti is the female energy. So, guys,
Okay.
we're not going to get into, I'm not going to describe everything for Jaylee because obviously can't do that in the video. But coming back to Kantara, so there is an interview with this guy called Ranveer Singh. He has a show called TRS, and he interviews a lot of spiritual, like yogis and different
Oh,
practitioners. Yeah, and one of
cool.
them, yeah, very cool. And he brought somebody, a tantric, so someone who indulges or practices tantra very seriously. And this guy is saying that the story in Kantara is actually a real story. So he's saying, so let's see what he says, and then we'll watch in a separate video maybe a clip from the movie to actually understand what he's talking about.
Hey, cool.
All
All
right,
right.
all right, let's just dive into it. I hope I did a decent enough job to set it up, but let's go.
Yeah.
One, two, three, go.
Channel for you. You don't have to consume every single podcast, but you have to binge watch all the clips on this channel. It's TRS
That's a good
Clips.
promo.
You're a Tantra practitioner
Yes.
Okay.
and you just highlighted Kantara. I want to know this angle,
So this is the
like
movie.
that you're an
Yeah.
actual
Okay.
Tantra practitioner. And for those of you who are tuning into this podcast for the first time, you need to check out the first episode to understand Rajaji sir's experiences. What did you like about that movie? I've not seen it yet, and I intend on seeing it. But everyone from entrepreneurs to mainstream Bollywood to people like yourself are talking about this movie. Why is that movie special?
Oh, because something in the last 15-20 minutes of that movie is beyond acting. It was like
Mm.
what is called as a term we use called avesham, where the deity enters into an individual. And that is
Wow.
part of the sadhana. It will happen everywhere. Whatever
Sadhana
deity
means
you're
a
worshipping,
practice.
the higher ranges, the deity
Okay.
will enter. And this phenomenon happens across India in Hinduism. Okay.
So he's
And
saying,
it's not even
just
a
to,
new
can
thing.
we
In
pause?
villages, it happens. You'll see whether
Yeah, and maybe you can give me the rights, Fred, so I can pause it too. So basically, he's saying that the deity will enter the person. So it's basically somewhere in those minutes, and we'll watch this in a separate clip, guys. We'll actually watch the clip that he's referring to, that you're invoking the spirit of the deity into your own body. So then it's no
Okay,
longer,
wow.
yeah, it's no longer acting, is what he's claiming. So this is an actual thing that's perhaps happening or manifesting while they're shooting this movie, which is a,
Oh, so they're saying that like the actors were actually like
yeah, the actor
became
director,
one with
yeah.
these gods.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe, yeah, there was something that kind of took over, right? Took over, that is more divine or supernatural. Anyway, coming back to, yeah.
All
Then you go
right. That hyping me up for
as
this movie.
in Bengal side, we have a term we call bhorha. Bhorha means deity taking possession of you.
Yeah, bhor
So
is a
possession is
possession, yeah.
not the Abrahamic idea of possession is that it's a negative thing. For us, no. Possession can be a divine thing. In
Mm.
fact, one of the oldest texts mention that a man gets liberated when Shiva possesses a person. A
So
deity can
Shiva, one
possess
of
you.
the,
And as I was
yeah.
saying, your highest state of upasana is when the deity is inside of your body. Okay, then who are you? That's the big question. Are you Ranveer? Are you the god? Okay, so this is a very Hindu concept. This is on this lies so many things, concepts of our upasana. And in that movie, in
So
the
in
last
Hinduism, yeah.
part of it, there is a the main devata who's whatever is the storyline, etc.
So Devata means God, the main God in the story. So in the story, they talk about, and he'll go into a summary of it, but Devata means God.
Okay.
And he has a Kshetrapala. And the Kshetrapala possesses the protagonist and he fights against certain enemies. That scene that is there, it cannot be acted. There is some shift in the energy very clearly. And later I read, I was curious that how did he do it? So I read some interviews and all that. And he actually stopped eating non-veg food 20 days before that movie. And those last few days, he survived on coconut water. And he had help from people who are more
Wow.
advanced upasakas of that path. So they told him what to do. It's like he enters into that zone.
Upasaka means, like, I think, guys, again, correct me if I'm getting the term wrong, but Upasaka, I think, means seekers. So he contacted the director actor, because the actor and director are the same for this movie, Kantara. So
Okay.
Rishabh Shetty, he is claiming, the Tantric here is claiming he contacted some higher aspirants or seekers to learn these practices to prepare himself for this particular role and scene.
Wow. And you just drank coconut water. That's
I mean, yeah,
crazy.
because it's part of I think that spiritual process of cleansing
Yeah.
yourself and all. Yeah, yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of fasting.
I know, right? Talk about like
Wow.
method acting to some other, so yeah.
Dedication.
And that's why people, once they see it, after that, when they're alone, even in front of the group, they may say, oh, okay, it's just a movie. But once they're alone, it hits you. Hits you that, what is it? What did I say? It's the same thing that will happen. If you're a non-believer, you'll run away from it and you'll say, oh, it's just superstition. I don't want to think about it. That's the way of protecting your mind from reality, of that kind of a liminal reality. And if you're a believer, you'll just fold your hands and say, what did I see?
Okay. Without giving any spoilers, can you give the plot of the movie a little bit for
Yeah,
people
thank
who've
you.
not seen it, and we
Without
have
spoiling.
international listeners as well?
So the plot is very simple. It's a conflict between a village and certain government officials who want to, it stays in a forested area inside, sometimes in interior Karnataka.
Southern part of India. Karnataka is a state
And
in southern
basically there
India.
are
Okay.
there's a king who used to live there, and the king one day decided that I want to go out in search of peace. So he goes out and he finds two devatas. One is
Or gods.
Guliga Deva, who is basically a Kshetrapala, protector of that village.
A
And
deity.
then there
Yeah.
is another
Okay.
boar, like a deity, like a boar. Okay. Like we have Varaha Avatar, which is
Yeah,
Vishnu's
see the
avatar.
Varaha I was
Similarly,
telling you.
he's called
Oh, yeah.
Panjruli Deva. Okay. So those are the two local manifestations of the devatas. And he tells them that he feels very peaceful when he comes in front of them. And then there's an oracle. Oracle means somebody in the village who gets possessed by the deities and he speaks for the deities. So he tells him that you can take the two devatas manifest in a stone, just the way we do murti upasana, same way. You can take them, you'll have tremendous peace. But in return, you'll have to ensure that the village is given to the villagers, this land is given to the villagers, and they are not disturbed, etc. So he takes it, he says that, okay, I promise, make a promise. And then the gods tell him that if you break this promise, or later generation anybody breaks this promise, then the Kshetrapala is not going to leave you. So if you make a promise to a deity, it's a very serious matter. It's not like human beings. Then eventually the movie
Can't
goes
break
into
your
that there are
promises.
later generations of that individual who wants to, he's dead. Then few generations later, they want that forest land back because it's very high priced. They can sell it and things like that. That lends into a conflict with the villagers. So this is the how does this conflict gets resolved is the movie. While in the process, the main protagonist of the movie, he is somebody who belongs to a family of these priests who gets the devata, the avesham of the deity, and he tries to run away from his destiny. He doesn't want to do that. The movie shows that he has no interest in it. Everything else he's doing in his life, but the moment he's asked to do that, he says, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. But the deities are like this. He has a chosen destiny. So the devata keeps manifesting signs to him. There are dreams that are happening. He's hearing voices, etc., etc. Eventually, it brings into a culmination where he finally gets possessed by the deity, and in that state it's beautiful. It's like it's indescribable how that last few scenes come out in the movie. So that's why I think it's a wonderful movie.
Powerful, huh?
And
Talk about
the
acting on a
spiritual
different
concepts
level.
shown within the movie are based on
Yes,
actual tantra.
exactly. Those are real concepts. He wasn't making anything up. That is precisely how devata upasana happens in dharma. And by the way, this concept of being possessed is not at all a new thing by a deity. It's there from the Vedic times. It's there in the Mahabharata. It's there in
another epic, Indian epic,
various other texts. In
Mahabharata.
fact,
Okay.
in the
It's a text,
previous
yeah.
podcast, I was just referring to something. When you do a upasana of a devata, you do something known as nyasa, which is basically you place specific mantras in different parts of the body. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
So mantras are like those chants I was telling you.
Mhm.
So one of the common ones, like it could be any simple mantra. Like usually it has like these Sanskrit words. So like Om, we say Om in yoga. A lot of people say Om. So Om is a mantra. It's a universal mantra. It sort of connects with the universe, and it's a very powerful. It's a one syllable mantra, but it's very powerful. And then you could have something much more specific. Let's say for a specific deity. So we saw the Hanuman Chalisa. So there is a mantra for Hanuman as well. So Om, maybe one example, Om Hanumate Namaha. You have like Om. Some of the common ones are, what is it? Om Ganpate Namaha. So if you're praying to Ganpati, Lord Ganpati, and all of this is available on Google as well. But he's saying when you're cleansing yourself, you might have a mantra for each part of your body. And let's say you're chanting it or doing
Wow.
practices to purify those parts of your body. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because you divinize the body. What happens if
Divinize
you
the body.
divinize the body? You will have a little bit of avesham of the deity. In fact, as you go to higher,
What is avesham?
avesham is
Yeah.
possession by the deity. Not fully, but little bit. Little bit of possession by the devata of the energy of the deity will enter into you, and that energy will do the upasana through you. Your own effort is not enough to reach there.
Upasana is practice.
Any practice you are
I'm
doing.
glad he's clarifying these words.
So eventually, at the higher
Very
stages, the
good
person
at
realizes that
making all
even his
clarified.
efforts are not his efforts. It is he or she whom he is worshipping, the devata, the god, whoever is. It's anugrah, blessings of the deity who enters into you. His or her Shakti enters into you and gets the
Strength,
practice done
power
through you. And
enters
that
into you.
happens through a mild amount of avesham, mild or more avesham, depends. That's the practice.
The director of the movie, Rishabh Shetty, has also come to the forefront, and he's kind of the mind
He's the actor and the
behind this
director.
concept of Kantara.
Okay.
So I'm sure he had some idea about these concepts, and that's how he
Of course.
manifested it. But on a more spiritual level, is it the choice of the deities around us to have movies like that come to the forefront and concepts like this come to the forefront? Where were podcasts like this 5 years ago? I wouldn't have dared to do it as a content creator. Why do I dare to do it now? And we get deeply criticized for doing podcasts like this.
Right.
So I can feel Maya trying to pull me back. And then I can feel
Maya is
Tarama
illusion
making
in
me
like
meet people like yourself.
so in Hinduism, Maya is like illusion. So in a very deep philosophical way, the idea is, and again, guys, I'm not trying to explain it in depth. That could be a lifetime of conversations with Jaley,
It
because
seems very, very like
very deep, right? Very
deep, yeah.
deep and layered. But this idea of illusion, so the world is an illusion, like, and the idea is that there is obviously a force, sort of Brahman, like a greater reality or a force beyond it, beyond the illusion. So he's talking about how he wouldn't have dared because maybe there are forces that are pulling him back from discovering the truth. the true nature of things, right? So that's what he meant by Maya.
I absolutely firmly believe there is some shift that has happened, because this kind of a movie would be impossible even few years ago for various reasons. Okay, not just impossible. I mean, when I think of it, so whatever news I get is from the newspapers. Obviously, I don't know any of these people. So they thought it will be some kind of a low budget, just okay
Yeah, I
film
told you,
and
like
run in the
low budget.
local people are how word of mouth it spreads like wildfire, then gets translated into Hindi and throughout. In Calcutta, I'm amazed that the show has been running for so long, and I see people at one of the shows, and after that at the end scene, it's like organically there is people who are like folding hands and all that. I mean, then they will question
Wow,
you. Rational
for a
mind kicks in and
movie.
go, "What am I doing?" Like, because you are not accustomed to doing this. Because the
Yeah.
moment you come face to face with a reality like this, I do believe that there is a tremendous shift that is perhaps coming in this country.
In the world?
I don't know about the world.
Really?
I'm focused more on
Mhm.
the in this land. Okay, world maybe I
In
don't know.
India.
I've
In
never
India.
traveled outside India, so I have no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
but here, yeah, definitely there is some shift that is happening, as if some of the old gods are waking up.
Oh.
And when they get a thing done, they have one of these things. If a deity blesses a creative endeavor, be it a movie, be it anything, it will cause a tremendous the kind of reaction that you're seeing to the movie. No, uh, it's cult following that I'm seeing. Cult following of the movie that is happening. This cannot happen only by
It's like an
you
unbelievable
can
thing, right?
plan
For
things. You
yeah.
can be the best director and the best
Mhm.
actor and whatever greatest creative genius. You cannot plan this reaction. It happens through transmission of the Shakti of the Devata. Somehow or the other, it
Shakti, the
got captured on
power,
the
the
screen.
energy.
And whoever saw that movie, it left an impression on the mind. And it has its own way of working. That's all we can say.
Mm.
Do you think Tarama is blessing this
Wow.
podcast?
Why not? I mean, as I was saying just before coming.
So Karama, Jaylee, this is something I can speak for a little bit because a lot of people, so guys, as you know, I'm Indian American. My parents are originally from Kolkata, and a lot of our family actually still lives in Kolkata. So she is a very powerful female goddess that is worshipped. So in Kolkata or West Bengal,
Interesting.
they worship a lot of powerful female goddesses. So we've talked about some like Hanuman and Sri Ram, which are more like well, like male energies, right? But
Mhm.
in many parts of India, we also worship female energy, right? Which is also known as Shakti. So Tarama is one manifestation of a very powerful goddess, and one form of her is Tara. One form of her is Kali. So you may have seen images. I don't know if you ever have, but she's Kali, for instance, is a completely dark deity. She's black. She has her tongue sticking out. She's supposed to be a very, you could even look it up on Google if you
Yeah, I'm
want
looking
to.
it up now.
So type like
Mm.
Tara, Tara goddess, and you'll see, I think, an image of Tara, and then type Kali in maybe a separate tab or a separate
The
search.
most powerful female deity in the Buddhist pantheon.
Okay, yeah.
Oh
I could
wow.
probably look up, sorry, I could probably do a thing. Goddess Tara. I mean, this is coming from, because there are sects, like they said, Tantra in Hinduism and in Buddhism. So if you look at Tara, she's like a blue incarnation. She has long black hair. If you look at Google Images,
Uh-huh.
and we could maybe put up an image. Maybe we could
Ooh.
ask our editor to.
Holly looks like she'll
Yeah, so she's like she's
she
in
looks cool.
yeah she's in a raw form. So she is like, and I think it's funny because you watch a lot of anime stuff. So I
Yeah.
know Fred was even telling me that there are many shows or many games and many anime things where they have like these things depicted
Mhm.
more for a fictional character, but based on some of these deities. So she has like long hair, she has a garland of skulls and things around her, so very powerful goddess. So they're referring
Yeah.
to, yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole thing because then that would be another topic again, but just kind of mentioning that. So a lot of people worship goddess Tara. So she's considered like, if you pray to her, she can kind of release you from the cycle of rebirth. Because in Hinduism and Buddhism, we believe that you're born again and again
Yeah.
until you get moksha or liberation from it. So she can liberate you. So it's a very
Oh.
powerful, very high level. Goddess, one of the Mahavidya. So I think there are 10 Mahavidyas in Hinduism. She's one of them. So that's what they're referring to. But yeah, back to the interview, guys.
To
Okay,
this
cool.
podcast, I finished sadhana of Matara and it went very well.
So
So I
he did a
was
prayer
very
before coming.
pleasantly surprised and very happy to see Vigrah of Matara here. So that's how, as I said, if the deities are happy, they'll always point you that, okay, I'm here, I'm watching you. It's like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It
I
happens.
I wish there was a way for listeners and viewers to feel the energy in this room right now. Even Sanchit, Manjot are feeling whatever you and me are feeling right now. And this is not like
Mhm.
a podcast experience we've had in the past. I feel the podcast itself has hit some new zone, not just through this episode, but some of the episodes we've recorded lately have just been much more intense. If you enjoyed this video, just know.
All right. Okay. So that was just the take. So, guys, I wanted to give
Very
Jaley
interesting.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. And Jaley is an actress. So, I mean, we're just talking about Jaley's short film that she shot. So maybe at some point when it comes out, we'll share it with our AR fam. But talk about a divine acting experience, right? So this is on a
To
different
actually
level.
feel like
Yeah.
has the actor spoken out on this like himself, like talking about like if he was like possessed by any deities?
I don't know if he has, like, a lot of times they say not to, like, maybe there were interviews that I missed, maybe if it's in the local language. The only way I came to hear about this was through some recommendations, I'm sure, from our AR family and something I YouTube searched. So this is something that came up, and I knew that Kantara, because I've seen that video with Emily, it was heavily requested by our AR family, and a lot of people talked about the epic scene, and a lot of YouTubers have also reacted to this climax scene. So I guess the idea is, Jaylee,
Cool.
that we're going to watch it next, maybe in a separate video for our AR fam. But I wanted to give you that context so you could see what is he talking about these last 10 minutes. All right.
This hypes me up. I'm like, oh right, I want to see I want to see this.
Yeah. So I'm excited as well. All right, guys. So this was our reaction, and I know some of you've been talking us to check out the Ranveer show, Ranveer clips, to get more real interviews, not just related to well, this is somewhat related to films, but also spirituality, Hinduism, Indian culture. So I hope you enjoyed it. And guys, if you are seeing our faces for the first time, please do subscribe and become part of our beautiful, loving AR family. We have a wonderful community here, and we interact with each other quite often, unlike other YouTube channels, perhaps, that you may be part of. The second thing is, if you want us to do your exclusive request for a video or a song, we've been doing that since the inception of the channel. Do check us out on Patreon and become an AR Gold Plus member. We'd be happy to give you a shout out in our videos or dedicate a video to you. And also, you can check out all our blocked content. Anything that's blocked on YouTube goes up on Patreon, including full unedited movie reactions. All right, so that's all we had to say. We will probably see the clip soon, so you're going to see that in a separate video. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.